Have you ever been rejected and acted like you were fine? You smiled. You said, "It's okay." You pretended it didn't bother you. But later, when nobody was watching, it replayed in your mind again and again. That message they didn't reply to. That job that never called back. That person who walked away. That opportunity you thought would finally change everything, but disappeared. And the most painful part was not just being rejected. The most painful part was what you started believing about yourself afterward. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not attractive enough. Maybe I'm not talented enough. Maybe people like me just don't win. But listen carefully. Rejection does not destroy you because someone said no. Rejection destroys you when you start saying no to yourself. And today, you are going to learn how to build a mind so strong that rejection stops hurting you the same way it used to. Not because you become cold. Not because you stop caring. Not because you pretend pain doesn't exist. But because you finally understand who you are, what you are building, and why one person's decision can never define your entire future. There is a version of you who does not beg to be chosen. There is a version of you who does not collapse after one closed door. There is a version of you who hears no, pauses, breathes, learns, and keeps walking with more power than before. That version is not born. That version is built. And it starts with this truth. Most people are not actually afraid of rejection. They are afraid that rejection might confirm the worst thing they already believe about themselves. That is why one ignored message can ruin your whole day. That is why one failed interview can make you question your entire career. That is why one person leaving can make you feel like you are impossible to love. It is not the event alone. It is the story your mind creates around the event. And if you never train your mind will turn every rejection into a life sentence. But if you train it properly, rejection becomes information. A signal. A redirection. A lesson. Sometimes even protection. This video is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming emotionally unbreakable. Because the world will not stop rejecting you just because you are a good person. People will misunderstand you. Opportunities will pass you by. Some doors will close even when you did everything right. And that is exactly why you must build a mind so strong that rejection stops hurting you. The first reason rejection hurts so deeply is distraction. Most people are not living inside a mission. They are living inside noise. They wake up and instantly check who texted them, who liked their post, who viewed their story, who approved of them, who ignored them. Before their feet even touch the floor, their self-worth is already being voted on by strangers, friends, co-workers, old classmates, and people who do not even know what they are carrying inside. And then they wonder why rejection feels like death. Because when your attention belongs to everyone, your identity becomes fragile. You start living like a notification. You light up when someone notices you. You go dark when they don't. That is not freedom. That is emotional slavery. If your day can be destroyed by one person not replying, your mind is not weak because you are emotional. Your mind is weak because it has not been given a higher mission. A focused person still feels rejection. But they do not worship it. They do not sit with it for 3 weeks like it is a king on a throne. They feel it, study it, and return to the work. Because they have something bigger than being liked. They have something to build. Ask yourself honestly, how much of your pain is coming from rejection, and how much is coming from having too much empty space for rejection to grow? Because pain grows in idle time. Overthinking grows in idle time. Insecurity grows in idle time. When you have no direction, every rejection feels like a final verdict. But when you are moving toward a purpose, rejection becomes one scene in a much larger movie. That is why distraction is dangerous. It keeps you emotionally available to every small wound. It makes you check your phone 10 times, hoping the same person who hurt you will come back and heal you. But healing does not come from being chosen by the person who rejected you. Healing comes from choosing yourself so consistently that their absence no longer controls your nervous system. Build a mind so strong that rejection stops hurting you. And the first break is focus. Now here is the uncomfortable truth. Your comfort zone is not protecting you. It is controlling you. It whispers, don't try, because what if they say no? Don't apply. Don't post. Don't ask. Don't speak. Don't start. Don't risk embarrassment. And at first, it feels safe. Nobody rejects the person who never tries. Nobody criticizes the person who never shows up. Nobody laughs at the person who hides their dream in silence. But slowly, that kind of safety becomes a prison. You avoid rejection, but you also avoid growth. You avoid pain, but you also avoid proof. You avoid failure, but you also avoid the life that could have been yours. And years later, the regret hurts more than the rejection ever would have. There is a young man sitting somewhere right now who wants to start a business, but he keeps telling himself, I'm not ready. There is a woman who wants to change her life, but she keeps waiting until she feels confident. There is someone watching this video who has a gift, a voice, a message, a talent, a dream, but they are hiding because one person once made them feel small. Let me ask you something. How long are you going to let someone who rejected you become the architect of your future? How long are you going to let one closed door convince you to stop knocking? How long are you going to protect your ego while your potential slowly dies? This is the moment where most people lose. Not because they lack talent, but because they build a life around avoiding emotional discomfort. They do not go after what they want. They go after what feels safe. And then they call that being realistic. No. Sometimes being realistic is just fear wearing a mature voice. The comfort zone does not always look lazy. Sometimes it looks responsible. Sometimes it looks like waiting for the perfect time. Sometimes it looks like saying, I'll try again when I'm more confident. But confidence does not come before action. Confidence is the receipt you get after action. You do the difficult thing first. Then confidence arrives later and says, now you know what you are capable of. If you want rejection to stop hurting so much, you must stop treating rejection like proof that you should hide. You must start treating it like training. Every no trains your emotional muscles. Every setback teaches your mind, I can survive this. Every disappointment becomes evidence that pain can pass and you can still stand. That is how strength is built. Not by avoiding rejection. By surviving it without abandoning yourself. Now, here is the part nobody talks about. The strongest transformations are usually silent. There is a season where nobody claps. Nobody notices. Nobody checks on you. Nobody says, wow, you're changing. You are just alone with your habits, your thoughts, your discipline, and the quiet decision that you are done being controlled by people who do not choose you. This is where the real work happens. Not in public. Not in captions. Not in motivational posts. But in the private moments where you choose not to text them back out of desperation. Where you choose not to stalk their life. Where you choose not to shrink after criticism. Where you choose to wake up and work on yourself even though your heart still feels heavy. Silent transformation is powerful because it removes the need for applause. And when you no longer need applause, rejection loses half its power. Think about that. If you are changing only so people can notice, then their silence will break you. But if you are changing because you respect yourself, then silence becomes fuel. You do not need everyone to see your growth while it is happening. Seeds grow underground before they ever break the surface. And maybe that is where you are right now. Underground. Unseen. Misunderstood. Still healing. Still building. Still becoming. And because people cannot see the roots, they think nothing is happening. Let them think that. Let them underestimate the quiet version of you. Let them think you disappeared because you were defeated. Meanwhile, you are rebuilding your mind, your body, your standards, your confidence, your future. The day will come when they meet you again and something about you will feel different. Not because you became arrogant, but because you stopped auditioning for a place in people's lives. You stopped begging to be understood by people committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped letting rejection become your identity. That is the power of silent transformation. You become unrecognizable first to yourself, then to the world. But now comes the practical question. How do you actually build this mind? Not with fantasy. Not with fake positivity. Not by standing in the mirror and pretending pain is not real. You build it through daily mental exercises. The first exercise is emotional separation. When rejection happens, pause before you label yourself. Do not say, I got rejected, so I am worthless. Say, I experienced rejection, and now my mind is trying to create a painful story. That small shift matters. You are not your rejection. You are the person observing the rejection. That distance gives you power. The second exercise is evidence training. Your brain loves collecting evidence for fear. One person ignores you, and your mind says, see? Nobody cares. One job rejects you, and your mind says, see? You'll never succeed. So you must train your brain to collect better evidence. Write down 3 moments from your life when you survived something you thought would break you. Maybe you lost someone. Maybe you failed. Maybe you were embarrassed. Maybe you had to start over. And yet, here you are. Still breathing. Still watching. Still capable of becoming stronger. That is evidence. You have survived pain before. You can survive this too. The third exercise is controlled discomfort. Every day, do one small thing that makes you slightly uncomfortable. Speak up when you would normally stay quiet. Go to the gym when you do not feel like it. Apply for the opportunity. Make the phone call. Post the work. Start the conversation. Finish the task. Controlled discomfort teaches your nervous system that discomfort is not danger. And when your body learns that discomfort is not danger, rejection becomes less terrifying. The fourth exercise is identity repetition. Do not wait until you feel strong to speak strength over your life. Say it when you are tired. Say it when you are rejected. Say it when your confidence is low. I do not need to be chosen by everyone to be valuable. I can feel pain without becoming pain. I can be rejected and still be worthy. I am building a mind so strong that rejection stops hurting me. This is not magic. This is mental conditioning. Your mind becomes what it repeatedly hears, sees, and practices. The fifth exercise is mission replacement. When rejection hits, do not run back to the person, place, or opportunity that hurt you. Run back to the mission. Work on your skill. Clean your room. Train your body. Read 10 pages. Build your portfolio. Improve your craft. Serve someone. Make something. Movement breaks obsession. Purpose breaks emotional dependence. The person who rejected you should not become the center of your universe. Your growth should. And if you keep doing this, something strange begins to happen. Rejection still stings. But it does not control you. It still disappoints you. But it does not define you. It still creates a moment of sadness. But it no longer steals your whole identity. That is emotional maturity. That is mental strength. That is freedom. Now, let me give you a real-life picture. Imagine 2 people rejected from the same opportunity. The first person goes home and says, I knew it. I'm not good enough. They stop trying. They replay the moment for days. They check social media. They compare themselves. They let one result become their personality. The second person goes home and says, "That hurt. But what can I learn?" They review their performance. They improve one skill. They send another application. They keep moving. Same rejection. Different mind. Different future. This is why rejection is not the final difference between people. Response is. Some people use rejection as a grave. Others use it as a gym. One buries them. The other builds them. And the difference is not luck. It is training. Psychology shows us that the brain learns through repetition, meaning, and emotional intensity. So when rejection happens and you repeat, "I am worthless," with strong emotion, your brain starts strengthening that pathway. But when rejection happens and you repeat, "This hurts, but it is not my identity," you begin building a different pathway. You are teaching your mind a new response. You are not denying pain. You are refusing to let pain become your master. And that is the proof. People do not become mentally strong because life stops hurting. They become mentally strong because they stop turning every painful moment into a personal verdict. The strongest people you admire are not strong because they never heard no. They are strong because no did not make them quit. They kept walking. Quietly. Repeatedly. Without needing the world to understand every scar. So here is the recap you need to remember. Rejection hurts more when your life has no mission. So build focus. Rejection controls you when your comfort zone controls you. So practice discomfort. Rejection becomes dangerous when you turn it into identity. So separate the event from your worth. Rejection loses power when you transform silently. So stop performing growth and start living it. And rejection stops defining you when you return to your mission faster than you return to your pain. That is how you build a mind so strong that rejection stops hurting you. Not overnight. Not perfectly. But daily. One thought at a time. One habit at a time. One brave action at a time. Now I want you to do something tonight. Before you sleep, take out your phone or a notebook and write down the rejection that still hurts you. The person. The opportunity. The moment. The memory. Write it down honestly. Then underneath it, write this sentence. This hurt me, but it will not own me. Then write one action you will take tomorrow that proves your life is still moving forward. Not a huge action. A real action. Apply again. Train again. Create again. Study again. Wake up early. Delete the message thread. Stop checking their page. Finish the work you keep avoiding. One action. Because healing does not begin when they come back. Healing begins when you come back to yourself. And maybe this is the moment you stop chasing closure from people who were never capable of giving it. Maybe this is the moment you stop waiting to be picked. Maybe this is the moment you realize that rejection was painful, but it was not the end. It was the pressure that forced you to become stronger. The world may reject your first attempt. Your first dream. Your first version. Your first offer. Your first love. Your first idea. But that does not mean the world has rejected your future. So stand up again. Quietly. Powerfully. Without begging. Without bitterness. Without needing revenge. Build yourself so deeply that the next time rejection knocks on your door, it does not find the same fragile person it used to control. It finds someone focused. Someone disciplined. Someone healing. Someone dangerous in the best way. Someone who can say, "You may not choose me, but I still choose myself." And remember this. Rejection is not proof that you are not enough. Sometimes rejection is simply life removing people, places, and paths that were too small for the person you are becoming. Build a mind so strong that rejection stops hurting you. Because the strongest version of you will not be created by the people who accepted you. It will be created by the moments that rejected you, and still could not stop you. Final line. A weak mind begs to be chosen, but a strong mind becomes impossible to ignore.